Volunteers are vitally important, and volunteer managers are obviously the key. I sort of think of them as the pivot between the organisation, the funders and wider community.
There are 35 hospices across New Zealand. Volunteering is hugely important in hospice. What it means for us locally, the community actually purchased the property that we operate from in Lower Hutt. So it's very important for us that there is a connection with that community, and that comes through the volunteers who work for us at Te Amanga. So we see that contribution as hugely important.
Volunteers make up the fabric of our city. They promote healthy communities, they support inclusion, they do all those all that work and provide all those services that the community needs to survive. And just looking around this room, the people that I know here, you represent hundreds, probably thousands of volunteers.
And I just think about how some of the young people that we work with, young women in the YWCA, and how they have been affected by volunteers. So we run a mentoring program called Discover. It's a leadership program. We have a number of women across Wellington that have been mentoring young people, including myself, and just the value of being able to give the gift of mentoring in a voluntary setting is amazing. What you get out of volunteering is really important as a person, and I think as New Zealanders we're big on giving. Philanthropy New Zealand keeps saying that we give a lot of money, but we also do give a lot of time as well. And I think as people, I think of the young women on my board, 60% of them are younger than me. I'm 30. So I've got a 19-year-old right up into a 52-year-old that I manage on my board, and they all get a slightly different perspective when they come to the board table and they volunteer for the YWCA. And I think it's just amazing that the amount of experience that they're able to bring back and take to other parts of their life as well.
My answer to the question is of course extremely important. I mean, I see volunteering as the glue that holds our civil society together. I think it falls apart pretty quickly if people aren't prepared to give their time and their effort to all sorts of things. And the stats that we see through my involvement at Volunteer Wellington are incredibly encouraging, not only in terms of the sheer number of both individual and corporate volunteers, but the growth in both of them. I mean, I've been involved there for 4 years, and every year it's tracking up and up and up.
Certainly from our point of view at hospice, while we may write into our balance sheet the value of the savings that volunteers make for us and of the time they give us, really for us it's about the people that come because they bring something, each one of them brings something. So our focus really is not so much on the money, but it's on what they bring such a lot to our culture. It's part of who we are and what we do. Each year we have a volunteers party where we say thank you to our volunteers, because recognition is a big part of the recruitment and retention. I think recognition is equally as important, and I actually tell them how much each one of them gives us, because a lot of people, especially from a hospice's point of view, they know we have to raise a lot of money every year. They might not be able to give us the cold hard cash, but they can give us their time, and if I tell them the value of that time, they think, well, actually I have contributed a lot to the hospice this year.
I just say that on behalf of Council we do provide grant funding to a number of organisations that work with volunteers in the city, but the way that we do that is not in terms of, as far as I know anyway, we don't say, well, if we give this much we're going to get this much back. It's about the fabric, it's about the glue, it's about the thing that excites me about the volunteers and volunteer managers that I know is the passion that they demonstrate.
One useful way to try to put a value or a measure or express the value in another language, which is all accounting is, but it always undervalues it. if you're doing skills-based volunteering, well, what's the value of that? I mean, the value that people like us, the KPMG, is eye-wateringly high if we're doing it for a private sector person. If we're doing it for nothing, you know, you're either valued at something like $20 an hour, which we tend to, or you know, so I'm just mindful that it always undervalues, and it never captures all the stuff you've just been talking about. Is all that soft stuff that goes on that's actually just as important as, you know, anything we can put a hard number on. So use it as one way of describing what's happening, but find the other ways.
About the managers that I work with in my corporate world and my day job, and I look at the massive skill set that they have to do, understand what each person individually needs, or each type of segment of volunteers that you're working with. Volunteers, and I talk on volunteers from ANZ as well, in terms of them coming along for a day's worth of corporate volunteering. They all come for different reasons. So there's a lot of young people that we've found out that do just come along to get something on their CV. Some of them stay longer because they actually like it. Some of them come off because they don't like the people around them, or they don't like what they're doing.
A volunteer manager needs to be able to get alongside and lead those people.
The way we develop our people, I mean, the categories that we think about when we were developing our own people, were professionalism, accountability, drive and resilience, developing people, building relationships, feedback and learning, problem solving, making an impact, delivering a quality service, and technical knowledge. And to me, you know, from what I know of the people I know who are volunteer managers and volunteers, which of those don't apply?
Like Adrian, I don't really see that there's a distinction really between what happens in the corporate world or at City Council or anywhere else compared to managing volunteers. I guess that more gets loaded onto volunteer managers, and some of the people I know that are here today end up doing a much wider variety of tasks probably than someone in a more structured environment. Respect, if you like, for volunteer managers is increasing. It's definitely on the up.
I'd just like to emphasise communication. I think with a lot of volunteer managers, you're not getting to see volunteers on a day-to-day basis as you might do in a paid setting. And I think being able to have that personal relationship and be able to communicate effectively with those volunteers is really critical.
One of the things that we do is that we have an orientation, and they run 3 to 4 times during the year, and it's an orientation for all staff, so it's staff and volunteers. So we say the same thing to the group, regardless of whether they're paid or unpaid. The other is, I guess, just asking staff to realise that these people are giving their time. Often it's just a, hello, how are you today? That's all that we ask our paid staff to do, is that they are made to feel that what they're giving is equally as important as somebody who's being paid.
Those are often the issues that come up. It's around, I guess it's knowing current legislation, knowing how to deal with issues when they arise, but also having a degree of acceptance, if you like, for people who bring varying talents and personalities to an organisation. It's the same across organisations as well as voluntary organisations.